I'm Whitney Cummings, and I'm here to tell you about my book. It's called I'm Fine and Other Lies. The book is about my struggle with mental health issues such as codependence, love addiction, which I didn't even know was an actual thing, and it's a lot of funny, and by funny I mean very humiliating stories illuminating these struggles that I had. It's sort of like a funny self-help book. I wanted to write sort of all the stories that were too embarrassing to talk about on stage. Everyone says, why a book, why a book? I think I felt so limited by writing TV shows have to be 22 minutes, movies have to be 90 minutes, tweets have to be 140 characters, books I really got to tell my story and say all the things I needed to say without all these sort of superficial limitations, and that was very liberating and I think was the best use of the material. Now is the time I decided to write the book because number one, I finally feel like I was interesting enough. I take people's time and money very seriously, and I didn't want to write a book until I actually felt like I had something to say and something to offer. So I feel like I'm now at the point where I've accumulated enough humiliating mistakes and knowledge of how to recover from the mistakes and not make the mistakes again. I really tried to commit the book to my younger self, and I just was thinking, like, let me write a book that I wish had been available to me. It's just for people who struggle with not being able to say no and being in bad relationships and being unfulfilled but not knowing why, and struggle with any kind of fear or pain. Writing rituals is a tricky one. This is my first book, so I was definitely trying some rituals out. Some of them did not go particularly well. I remember one time I got some advice to sage my office, which I think I almost choked to death. So that ritual did not work. The thing that mainly works for me is having to cut off my Wi-Fi while I'm working, because I get so distracted and I'm, online shopping and I'm Googling my ex-boyfriend's new girlfriend, and all of a sudden it's 4 o'clock and I've got no writing done. So the main ritual for me is to turn the Wi-Fi off. Lots of candles, lots of coffee, and a deadline, a looming deadline. It's like awe. There's this magical Narnia quality of a bookstore to me. I recently actually came into this exact Barnes & Noble when I was trying to figure out my book cover. Was working with the publisher, couldn't figure out the color, couldn't figure out the font, didn't know what to put on the back. And I came in and I just perused all the books and I was like, what's catching my eye? What's making me want to open? And I was sort of just doing real-time research, and I cracked the cover of my book and figured out, okay, the spine is going to be this cover, we're going to do this font, this is what I'm going to write on the back. So there's just a magical quality of coming into a bookstore. I feel like your brain just is able to do twice as much or something.